It is Monday, September 28th, 2020, the year that shall not be named, and it is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast. Double cork popping. I like it. You're gonna go bottoms up.
You savage, Kevin.
Oh, thank you guys for tuning in on this lovely Monday evening. Probably the
Keep
last
it
hot
down,
day.
Dan. So noisy.
Probably the last hot day in Atlanta for the rest of the year before we go into fall number 2. We had fall 1, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Past like 3 days has been summer 2, I think is what it's. Larry Luke posted something on Instagram the other day. It was like all the seasons of Atlanta. And I think finally we're getting into like second fall, first winter, whatever it is. I'm Tim Herb. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Mr. Dan James, in the middle.
Whoa, just getting sandwiched.
I know.
I see how it is. I'm gone for 3 weeks, and now I get third billing. That's pretty fucked, in my opinion. Dan wasn't here for 3 years, and somehow he's leveraged himself into second standing on cast.
Yep, much like this fan base. Much like this fan base, I am a "what have you done for me lately" type of person.
Bradley out.
As Gordon Ramsay.
We do have Kevin Bradley finally joining us again. It feels good to have the triumvirate, the three-headed monster. As Chiefs coach Steve says, "Hello FBI, call off the search. We found him." Kevin, how are you?
Good, much better now that I'm here.
Back out of hiding.
Yeah. No, it's just been crazy. I mean, you guys know what's been going on offline and just work and everything else, and then also. I missed the first couple weeks ago. I missed some games, and then past couple weeks has been work, and now everything seems to be leveling back out again. So it's good to be back. I came back with a vengeance last night on Twitter. I was unleashed.
Yeah, it's good to see all those people drop the charges, Kev. So I'm happy for that.
Mostly the Parceros, because there was a murder last night on Twitter.
If you guys are watching us on YouTube live, thank you guys, as always, for tuning in and joining us in the trap. Leave us some comments, smash the like button, as it were, as the kids say. And subscribe if you guys aren't subscribed. We do get the net analytics. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We see that people watch and they're not subscribed. So we're close to hitting 500 subscribers on YouTube, which I think is pretty cool.
That's
a lot of people unsubscribed because I wasn't around. Hopefully,
that's true.
Now.
It's very true. We got Brian Daniels joining live. Typically, it's comments. I feel like the day after we got Andy Watkins, Elliot Beaven, Richard Gordon, Chiefs coach Steve, Brian. Coach Steve, still waiting for that bushel of Brussels sprouts to land on my doorstep. I need a HelloFresh delivery, Coach Steve style.
The bushel of apples I picked this weekend.
Yeah. Did you fill up a mailbox after you ate all those apples?
Oh, it's good. It's bad, dude. At least the apple cider donuts broke the fall. But yeah.
Oh God, we got Brittany S joining us. We got Designing with Less on the wrong account. I love that. And then Percy Herrera, did Kevin quarantine longer than Kevin? Or Percy was asking, did Kevin quarantine longer than Pippa?
Pippa Pig?
I don't know. Who's Peppa Pig?
No, Pippa is Higuain.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
I don't know why everybody's so upset about that. Pity Martinez hit the PK that he took the exact same way a couple years ago. Nobody remember that? Nobody remember that PK he took against, who was that? Against Chicago? Was that against Chicago that he took that PK? Just skied it to tie the game at the final moments? Or was that Red Bulls?
I think you're talking about. Are you talking about Pity Martinez?
Yeah, it's Petey. Yeah, it was Petey. It was Toronto in the regular season, right?
What did I say?
I thought you said Pippa.
Yeah, I said it's the same deal. Everybody's so upset with him, but gives Pity a pass. I don't see what we're so upset about right now.
But I didn't see Toronto talking shit to Petey after he missed it, and giving him getting him to start a brawl. Like, that was pretty impressive to me by that Philadelphia backline to just be celebrating in his face and to get him that riled up.
Yeah.
Welcome to MLS.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, it was. It was Toronto, I'm pretty sure, in the regular season. And then Joseph missed the penalty in the postseason, right?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So, how are you guys feeling today?
Great.
Little mixed bag. What do you got? What are you sipping on, Dan?
I've got some High West double rye. It's beautiful. I love it.
Is that like a Jewish rye? Is it like a pump?
Yeah, it's Yom Kippur today. So
it's just your regular double rye. It's good. I like it a lot. It's High West. I guess they're out of Utah, so it's okay. Mormon rye. What
about you, Kevin? What are you sipping on?
Eagle Rare.
Only the good stuff. I was cleaning up my office. I have like 4 empty bottles of bourbon in my closet.
I'm surprised that's all.
Yeah. And in true like hoarding mentality that I get from my dad, I'm like, I can't throw these out. These mean something to Kevin.
Why do you think I love
them? And then my dad somewhere is like, I had depression era parents. We have to keep everything. You say you feel good, Kevin?
Yeah, I feel great.
Yeah.
Why not? Who cares?
This is what the 10th game and the 10th different lineup that we've had under Stephen Glass. Is that right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted. I mean, honestly, I wanted some results to go with it, but if we're not going to win games, at least let's see different lineups and different formations, and some of that's been necessitated by injuries and things that have happened off the field and Barco knock jokes, and here we are. So who cares? Let's just keep going, and maybe we'll have something to take away from it going into next season.
It's a knock joke is what I understand.
Exactly.
So this is total speculation. I haven't heard anything. Do you think Barco got COVID? Do they have to announce if the COVID testings come back positive?
If it's like other sports, I would imagine there's some sort of disclosure, at least to the effect that somebody on the team has it just because of traveling reasons, maybe.
Remember when the only knocks we had to worry about for Barco was if he was going to knock up one of the other players' significant others?
Life was more simpler back then, Kev. Yeah. So
at least we were winning games then.
This is going to be me the rest of the show. I'm going to let you guys.
He was so what was like a week ago, so 3 games ago, he was not put on the roster anymore. There haven't been any rumors, I guess, of transfers recently. And then he's doing this
closes on the 5th, right?
Something like that. And then I'm not sure when the window closes.
I'm pretty sure it's like 25 or 25th, 26th, something like that.
Oh, I don't know. I thought Rob Usry had said something about the 5th, so I don't know why.
So yeah, he has been doing this modified training. So is modified training like on another field with someone yelling at him 10 feet away?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea, but I'll watch the games, but I'm surprised when we do something decent.
Yeah. I mean,
I think there are positives to take away from what we've seen in the past 2 games, if not 3 games even. I mean, I think, at least in my eyes, I didn't expect anything. And sorry to jump in, Kevin, but I didn't expect anything in the Stephen Glass era to be it's cool that we're in the play-in match contention right now. But at the same time, a lot of this, I feel like I'm getting it's a little disconcerting to see different lineups and different formations every single game, but it is good. I think what I was expecting to see was a tryout period, like a last chance you type of thing with some of these guys, because these are guys that you look at coming back. If you're looking at John Gallagher coming back from his loan spell and coming up from the 2s, and then you have tryout. I mean, you have guys that might, and when Dan and I talked about it last week, that might not make the team come next year, that are really playing for a spot either on this team going into next year, as some sort of trade chip.
And to the same point, you are seeing players that maybe wouldn't have made the cut had they not been given the opportunity, that maybe you're finding a little bit more value in. So I think top to bottom, this roster is up for debate aside from Joseph Martinez, in my opinion. I think everybody else is on the hot seat, more or less. And you're in a position as a club with a new manager to really have a full inventory overview and have checks and minuses next to everybody's name and figure out who's going to be the best fit for whatever that manager wants to do with this team next year. So in some regards, like, absolutely, I'm disappointed to not see results, but there's plenty of reasons why we're not seeing results. It's not like this team has some consistent track record and I'm expecting those results based on the situation at hand. I'm not too surprised. And if that's going to be the case, at least I can be surprised with the positives, and the negative isn't as much. Like, the negative is almost a given at this point. Does that make sense? So anything good that happens is better than expected.
Money. Like, we're looking at found money. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The expectations are so low that you're right. I think there's more outside of Joseph that I think we've got a good core of center backs, and then Brooks Lennon and Bello, and then I would probably take the rest of the team. And yeah, like you say, Joseph would be the one guy who was a locked in guy on the roster, but the midfield's just been atrocious.
I haven't seen it in weeks, so
yeah, it's not been great. I mean, I don't think anybody in the midfield should be beyond reproach at this point either. Even there's a lot of nostalgia for what Eric Remedi has done for this team in the past couple of years. At the same time, again, shouldn't be beyond criticism for his recent run of form. I mean, he just was not up to snuff on Sunday.
Criticizing any of the players right now is, what are you criticizing them based on? Like, are they coming up short based on their lack of performance in some I don't know what Glass's methodology is onto how this team is supposed to be performing. So based on that metric, I don't know if players are underperforming or if it's a lack of direction that's been given that they're not allowed to thrive in. Does that make sense? Like,
no, it is, but I
mean, there's definitely bad plays and bad decision making, and I'm not going to argue that, but I don't know that these players are being given clear direction on how they're supposed to be playing under this management system right now.
Well, it seems like, I mean, you look at the response to the game on Wednesday against FC Dallas, and it looked like we were, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but it looked like we were going along the Red Bulls.
Oh, absolutely.
Press,
no,
right? I mean, we were looking at that. Yeah. And I felt like that fed really well into the personnel that we had on the field on Wednesday. I mean, you look at a team that, we went for speed more than anything on the field. We leave Adam John off. We played John Gallagher up front, right? And, we pressed, and everybody was surprisingly happy with it. I mean, I felt like we played one of our more complete games, one of our better games that I've seen us play in since the restart, really. Yeah. And what I was hoping for was kind of a repeat of that, or some sort of sustained lineup or formation come Sunday, and it didn't happen. I think that's part, and that feeds into what you're saying, Kevin. Maybe it is. Like, I don't know if it's, I really don't know what his philosophy is, and it seems like it changes from game to game. But what I don't understand is, like, Wednesday night, it worked. Why not try and employ the same thing, same lineup on Sunday? Even though I felt like Adam John was one of our more dangerous players on Sunday. I thought he was, if not for Bobby Shuttleworth, was going to bag a brace. Like, he looked, he and John Gallagher, I think, were probably our more like legitimate threats up front during that game.
Gallagher has definitely been a big breakout. I mean, throughout this season, that I don't think, given the circumstances, we would have seen in the capacity that we've been able to this year. Same thing with George Bello. I mean, I think George Bello, you would wager a bet that maybe we see him in some capacity under Frank DeBoer, but Gallagher, I mean, unless the series of events takes place with not just with the roster and injuries, but obviously with the managerial staff, like, I don't think you see him get as much playtime as we have in recent weeks. And I think it's been a good, viable prospect. And even if we don't keep him on the roster or in the lineup, at least maybe he gets a little bit more attention and gets noticed a little bit more in the offseason.
Yeah, I definitely think Gallagher, he only got his position because he came on for a sub. I think it was in the MLS tournament because of the failures of everybody in front of him. Right. And then it's good that we've been giving him a chance. So the rest of this year, like to your point, this is really good experience for Gallagher. I'd play him as much as we can.
Yeah.
But I'm partial to say, well, let's just see who we can get going now. I think Castro, to be honest, I feel so bad for that guy, but he's a lost cause now.
Yep.
He might be one of your better players in the pecking order, but we haven't seen that yet. I'm starting to guess you really play him over someone like Tyler Wolf, or give his spot to someone else who can really fill it. But then he's just you're wasting a roster spot. So
it's weird because like I feel like he does pretty well until he gets like into the box and then he forgets what to do.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he gets himself into positions and he dribbles and gets it, if he's getting into the corner, cutting into the box, finding a way to get into that attacking area, and then it just seems like he has mental lapses all the time.
First couple games you give him the benefit of the doubt that it's just jitters and it's his first game, but whenever it's a consistent pattern of behavior, at a certain point you've got to cut your losses, and hopefully the front office is going to be doing so going into next year.
Yeah, I totally think he's a lost cause.
Yeah, it seems like everybody in the trap is pretty much in agreement that Gallagher is, Brian saying Gallagher's the bright spot of 2020. Coach Steve saying Gallagher had a game. It was good to see someone take credible shots. There was another comment I felt like.
Ooh, Brian's got a good one. If we're going to lower our expectations of the players, we might as well do the same for the coaches. Like, I agree. I mean, I think this whole season is just kind of, let's see what we can take away from it, and let's do everything without trying to get locked into some mentality or some approach to things, because at least my understanding is everything's going to change going into next year. Once you've got a new manager and at least one, if not two new DPs, and the return of Joseph Martinez and lineup changes top to bottom, like, no matter what you get out of this year, if you're trying to instill some sort of a system, it's most likely going to be overturned next year anyway. You might as well just try to keep guys healthy and keep them playing,
Yeah, the frustrating thing about the situation is there's no pressure on Stephen Glass.
No.
I mean, what are they going to do? Fire him? I mean,
right.
No, they're not going to do that because they just want him to be the twos manager, and then who are you going to put in charge?
Right.
So I don't put any hope. I think the best way to spend this time is to #play your kids and just see what you have in those potential faces that you want to keep around in 2021.
So Edgar Ochoa says we still got to make the playoffs, though. Do either of you guys think that Atlanta makes the playoffs based on its current standing and run of form?
No. Should we go through the schedule?
Yes.
Because all right, let me put it.
Did you say that with a hard CH? You didn't say schedule?
I did. All right, so what are we doing here? I'm just going to pull up my phone because it's easier.
Oh, gee, man. No, I mean, if I don't know.
Stall for me, Tim. Stall for me.
From my standpoint, if 10 teams out of how many are in the East? 12, 14? If 10 teams make it to the quote-unquote playoffs, are we talking about, like, do we make it into the play-in game? Then yes, I think so. Or the play-in round or whatever it is, right?
I forgot they changed the whole damn format.
It's like,
so what's the play-in?
7 to 10 play each other in a play-in, right?
Yeah.
That's 7 to 10 is a play-in?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's like top 6 are automatic in.
Yeah, that's right. That's why they were showing the 2 lines on the broadcast last night. I completely forgot that they changed the format.
All right, so upcoming schedule. We're at DC next Saturday. Nothing ever as good has been done when we go to DC, just like Chicago. Then we're at home playing Orlando. Great. Then we're at home playing Red Bulls. Great. Then we go down to Miami. Then go to Toronto. Then come back home, play DC, then go down to Orlando and get beat by them down there. have a home game against Cincinnati, hopefully get a 1-0 win, and then finish up the season on a road trip with Columbus. I see
2 wins out of it.
Maybe 2 wins would be great. 6 points, I think, is more than I was thinking we would get. I was thinking maybe like you're going to get 2 draws, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not confident at all. I will be thoroughly surprised if we make the playoffs.
So for anybody that was as confused as Dan was, here is how the playoff format does work. It's the 18 total clubs will compete. So number 7 and number 10 play each other in a play-in game in the Eastern Conference. Top 8 automatically qualify in the West. In the East, we have number 7 versus number 10, number 8 versus number 9, and then the lowest seed plays number 1 in the East in the first round, and then the highest seed plays number 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't have any confidence that's gonna. Even if we get to that,
I mean, we're currently in what 10th?
We're currently in 11th.
11th. And we're
all out of that already.
We're 6 points out. Last time I looked, I think we were 6 points away from the 7th place.
Correct. You are correct.
Okay.
So
we're one win or 1 point away from the 10 spot.
All right.
Cool.
No, we're not. We're actually what does that say? 18. Oh, that's hate
Dan,
they do the points differently.
To your point about our run of games that we have remaining, how many games did you list that we have left?
9.
So of those, we've got Cincinnati, Miami, and DC, which are all at the bottom. So that's at least favorable. Granted, results against Miami have been hard to come by for this team this year. That's at least it's not like we're playing all. Do I think that we're going to beat Red Bulls in Toronto? Absolutely not. And I don't even think that we beat Orlando either of the times that we play them. But Miami, we've got we got DC twice, Miami, and
we have Orlando
Cincy.
twice.
So we could potentially squeak out 4 wins out of that run of 9. It's better than I would expect.
Right. And well, to be fair, to your point, Kev, around about when we play the Red Bulls could be the time when we see Marcelino Marino come in. So that could be helpful. Sure. And hopefully would have Barco after he's finished with COVID into that mix-up as well. So having him...
Do you think Barco is going to be
rumors
here? Do you think Barco is going to be here after the transfer window?
Yes.
And Tim, do you think we make playoffs? I know that Dan said no. Do you think we make playoffs?
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. If for no other reason, I just feel, again, I think we make the play-in game. Up after that, I don't know.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Because of the expanded format, I think, yeah. And I think we're going to be on the lower end of that. Like we may be the 10th team. Just climbing that high.
Right. You look at Nashville's run-in, so they're close to us.
We've got to play the bottom 3 teams and the top 4 teams in this stretch of 9 games.
Right. But also, like, if we look at the teams who we're competing with, so Nashville, they're on 16 points, and they've got Minnesota, Sporting KC, Houston Dynamo, who just got rid of Albert Elise, Dallas, New England, Montreal, Chicago, and then Orlando. But that seems like an easier schedule than what we have, though. Mm-hmm. And then Chicago, who have got a nice fire lit under them after they beat us. Montreal, Sporting KC, DC.
I see what you did there.
What?
I see. He's a fucking pun genius, and he doesn't even realize it. So Chicago had a fire lit under them, Dan.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
got it.
Glad you're all getting to my level.
Yeah.
Though Chicago's got a pretty tough schedule, so it's kind of like the results around us I'm not confident in it as well.
Well, especially whenever you're looking at, the other good thing is you look at the goal differential right now for those bottom 4 teams, including Atlanta. I I think it's a favorable chance that we can get 4 wins. But even still, the fact that they haven't been able to really produce results against one of those teams gives you cause for concern in some regard. But like you said, Moreno potentially coming into the lineup, whether or not we keep Barco after the transfer window, I think that's going to really – the rest of this season, in my opinion, hinges on Barco's return. Because without him, no Joseph, no Pity, and the rotating lineups that continue to take place, I just don't see how this team builds up any sort of midfield offense or anything past midfield line that gives you any sort of hope for what they may do besides, Adam John getting a couple opportunities here and there and Gallagher having a few as well.
Give me some more of those freaking diving headers from Adam John, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to give a shout out to Franco Escobar. He's been like one of our best players the past 2 games. I think, what did they rate him at? So it was 6.4. And I thought Adam Yarn was probably one of our better players. He did a lot, not just, on the ball. He did an awful lot off the ball, just shielding players around so guys could get into position. Hyman actually was one of our highest rated players, which was great.
Don't tell Parceros that.
Well, I know. Rometti was not.
Ron,
he was terrible.
Where's Ron? I'm just waiting for him to pop up in the trap.
Well, so Rometti was credited with that error, getting bodied off the ball on their second goal.
Yeah, that's pretty poor.
First goal, sorry. He was bodied off the ball and then they were able to turn it around. And then on the second goal, I noticed Meza jumped in front of Burek, but Jimenez was able to do this beautiful little chip right between the 2 Atlanta United players for Burek to just go in and have a completely open, unmarked shot because Meza was marking him, but then jumped in front. The ball went straight past him, and then it was Burek on goal. So it's a frustrating time, but I think we have some players to build on.
I mean, definitely. I think Chicago's a pretty good team too, and I think we could probably take some sort of solace in the fact that we came out with a win, albeit from a penalty kick on Wednesday against a pretty recently good FC Dallas team. I mean, I don't know. I'm forever the optimist with this stuff, and I'm forever getting my heart broken by my teams. But at the same time, like I'd rather be optimistic and invested. But I see some of the attack that Chicago has. I mean, Georgi Mihaljevic had a absolute banger of a game against us last night.
Yeah, he did.
And then Baric and Herbers, that front, whatever, I don't know, you want to call it 3 or 4, and you're bringing CJ Sapong off the bench, who's getting back into fitness and getting back integrated with the team after everything.
Oh, my God. Bello picking his pocket in that second half.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Was amazing. Just grown manning Sapong last night was awesome.
In the trap, in 2 words, what was your reaction whenever you saw George Bello on the ground crying?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
again.
Oh, God.
Not again.
Yeah. Not again.
That's
exactly.
Good words.
Yeah.
Mine was just, oh, fuck. Or like that time, like I think I told you this story, Kevin. Like my mom, we were driving down the road and she got cut off, and she couldn't think of anything to say, so she just shook her fist and went, "Not good." Like that's what I was yelling. I was yelling last night. Not good.
Shout out to Janet, busted out some of that rum cake this week. I had my monthly slice. It was great.
Oh God. Yeah, yes. George Bello was proving last night to me what I was saying on the show last week, that I don't think he'll be here come next season or 5 seasons later, like Eric Quintana said. You're talking about what? Lame mouths of the South saying he thought George Bello could be with this team for another 5 years. What?
Not a chance. Not a
what?
chance. Not a chance.
No, he's not going to be here for 5 years. He'll be here I think he'll be here for all of next season. But
do you think? The real question. I haven't been here in a few yeets. Dan.
Yep.
Have you started to falter on the $30 million price tag yet?
No, because he hasn't played a whole full season yet.
I've got news for you. It's not happening.
Well, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So.
I have an idea. We start fielding him as a center back, or at least putting him on the lineup sheet as a center back, and Man City will snap him up for 50 million pounds at least.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. He'll be part of like the most expensive back. He'll be sitting bench, but we'll get our money's worth.
30 million, Dan. You're still holding on to that. You're still thinking that's going to happen.
Well, what's the time? The timeline is at the end of
no. There was
absolutely.
no timeline. You just said 30 million or bust.
No, I didn't. Go back, listen to the podcast, understand the parameters that we're arguing about, and then you can come back.
No.
Yep.
I'm not buying it.
Maybe someone in the trap can do that.
I'm not buying it.
But you don't have to.
Everyone heard what I heard, which was Dan was just saying.
Kevin.
Million.
What you exactly? That's all you heard. It's whatever you wanted it to be.
Dan said 30 million pounds and Barco in the same sentence. We're gonna run with it. Are we to the point? Do we have like a JRE clips account that somebody's going and making clips of like Dan?
Absolutely, absolutely not.
I think we've got two of them actually.
Oh.
I'm going to dedicate my weekend to finding that. I'm going to do one of those campaign exposed videos, black and white.
Just cut up all my
claims Barco is a $30 million player or bust.
I'm going to get these gigantic pamphlets in my mail that say Dan James took money from El Nasser.
Tune in tomorrow night for the great Barco debate.
And you could have me chopping together saying whatever you want, but in different clothes per word in the sentence.
Yeah, it'd be great. You just keep chopping it on. I don't know, man. What are you guys expecting going forward for this season?
We got another 28 minutes to fill. You guys got to start talking.
Well, I will say that, like, if Barco gets transferred, like this transfer window, it's not going to be for 30 million.
Okay.
I mean, there's no way.
He's coming around. And then in a year, he's like, well, if it's this year, I don't think it'll be for 30 million either. And then the year after, like, I was really on like a 5-year window. Really I never put terms on it. I just said he could be eventually, maybe one day, if the stars align.
No. Thank you, Brian. The lighting in the podcast is better. Because it's all shining off Kevin's bald head. Yeah.
You can do it, you fuck.
I can see myself in your head right now.
It's like a magic 8-ball.
Hilarious.
Oh, he's saying that the lighting on this podcast is better than Joe Rogan. Oh, God.
Oh.
Because it's not taking place inside of a toaster oven.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm playing Prey whenever I watch it. Or Doom. Like, I feel like I'm in Doom.
You're inside of an Alienware computer.
The show takes place inside a computer.
So
has anybody seen real quick, has anybody seen Bill and Ted yet?
No, I've heard good things about it though.
Yeah. I need to watch it. Sorry. Just side note.
It's spooky season. I did watch Hollow Man the other night. The reboot.
They made a reboot of that?
Yeah, Invisible
Isn't it called like Invisible Man?
What?
Yeah, that was a real tough one.
With Elizabeth Moss?
Oh.
Yeah,
well, she's no Elizabeth Shue.
What?
Who was in Hollow Man? She was the scientist in Hollow Man. Yeah. She turned Kevin Bacon invisible.
No, I watched Invisible Man the other night. It's pretty solid.
I'm
not saying run out and do it, but it's good.
Yeah.
Good Hollow Man. No Kevin Bacon, but it's all right.
No thanks, then.
No thanks, then.
I'd rather just go watch River Wild.
What are your top? Oh, that's a good one for the trap too. Top 3 Halloween movies. We're getting
Hocus Pocus, Hocus Pocus, Hocus Pocus.
Fuck you! Jesus Christ!
No, for real though, Monster Squad is number 1 for me. And then nothing else after that. I don't like. You just mean like horror movies?
No,
Or do you mean
horror
based around the holiday of Halloween?
It doesn't have to be like an ABC original movie or anything like that. But
Like Casper the Friendly Ghost Part 3?
No. No, just movies to watch in or around Halloween. Doesn't have to be Halloween themed. It could be like Friday the 13th or something like that.
Okay, so Monster Squad's number 1, and then the first 2 Nightmare on Elm Streets are number 2 and 3 for me.
Okay.
So good movies.
I think the obvious choice is just the whole of the 2020 Atlanta United season, just condensed.
Hilarious. Dan with the jokes.
Wow.
Phantasm from Chiefs coach Steve. Nightmare Before Christmas with Brian. Dracula, the 1930 movie for Elliot Beavan. Freddy vs. Jason for Brittany S. Halloween, Monster Squad, Old Pet for Chris Filling.
I'm guessing he means Old Pet Cemetery, not the new one.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Yeah. Ed Wood, what's that? I don't know what that one is.
That Johnny Depp movie.
Old movie. Who's the director on that?
Ed Wood was like a 1995 movie.
Ed Wood's the director and the name of the movie.
That one? Ed Wood Scissorhands, right?
Yeah, Ed Wood Scissorhands.
It's that Johnny Depp movie? That what
you're talking about? Yeah. Oh God.
That's
Ed Wood was the movie where Johnny Depp played the director Ed Wood, and it was like 1990. It was between 92 and 95. It was kind of early to mid 90s. I haven't seen it in forever. It's a Tim Burton movie. Yeah, that makes sense. If it was Johnny Depp in the 90s, it was most likely Tim Burton. I do like Brian bringing us back to reality, though, saying can't wait for the all Atlanta United goals in 2020 video. It's going to last all of 39 seconds. Not if you put the goals we gave up. No, that's thinking. That's all right. Goals.
There's going to be like 3 hours.
2020.
Well, I see that the Marcelino Moreno has bought his parents a house. Isn't that nice?
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. Seems like a really nice guy. Have you heard about the thing that Jason Longshaw's doing with the scarves for Marcelo Moreno?
No.
It's pretty cool. So Longshore went and ordered a bunch of scarves, and he's given all the money he make. Well, I think all the money that is collected from the scarves and donating it to Moreno's high school, like the first club that he played at. So that was pretty cool to kind of welcome him to Atlanta. So I purchased one, so hopefully I'll get one.
Okay.
Nice.
Too bad you couldn't purchase one of the Home Before Dark scarves, but that's fine.
Well, I got one for free, so this one's going to be better quality, though. So
can't argue with you there. What are you guys' expectations for the rest of this season? Honestly,
I think we will, on average, we'll play like we played last night, and then every now and then we may snatch a win or a draw. More likely a draw. A 0-0 draw.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I have no expectations at this point. I think I'm genuinely over the point of the first couple of games after the MLS is Back tournament was like, all right, maybe we'll get it back together. And just being kind of disappointed. And I've finally turned the corner where like now I'm going into a game watching it not with the expectation to win, but to hopefully see some takeaway with some run of play with a player or two that and not to see any injuries or anything like that. I'm going into games hoping to see development more than anything. Like going into games hoping to see George Bello continue to develop and to find space and get into good position. Hoping to see Brooks Lennon continue to develop, which he has been, in order to provide service from that right side, which we're going to need him to do whenever Joseph gets back healthy. Trying to look at the way this team is playing, less so from the results standpoint and more so of like individual pieces, which I would hope to see return next year, and how they may fit into a system that will at least have the return of Joseph and one, if not two, DPs to go alongside it.
Yeah, well, it's also interesting for next year what the U22 and U23 initiatives bring, because that could bring 3 more essentially DP spots for players that are under 22 and 23 years. So that could be a huge...
Wait, what was that?
So the U22 and U23 initiative. So it hasn't been completely hammered out yet, but they were talking about it as part of the new CBA. So it's in the CBA, but the details aren't complete. And the last you can read on the MLS's website is that it's coming. So we don't know what it means, but it could be that you get 3 slots for players that are under 22 years of age and 23 that are not, they have a limited hit to the salary cap.
That's pretty awesome. That does the entire league a world of good, right? I mean, because you're essentially inflating the stock price of these players and garnering some wage that you hope is transferable or increases in value as you go to trade them to European markets. So you're sort of getting ahead of that. That's awesome.
Barco is he's 21. So right now he's a U23 player. So he is one already.
Gotcha.
So his cap hit is a lot less than Martinez and Moreno's right now.
Oh, so it's
Moreno's.
It's any U21 or 23 player around the world. It's not just in the US.
So long as you have the international spots to fill.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So if you're a regular DP, then you're over.
Kind of like more of a homegrown initiative more than anything.
No, well, they already have the homegrown and Generation Adidas stuff. But so just the difference is, so Martinez, his cap hit is like 700. 700? It's like 650,000. But when you have a U23 player, it's 200,000, and a U20 player is going to be 150,000. So it's a lot less for that cap hit. So I'm assuming you can just go out, get the best U22 player in, and kind of build your roster with a lot more depth. That's what I'm hoping Atlanta United do.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things when the Moreno rumors came about, I was a little surprised because he's an older player and he is going for a lot less money than I thought we'd be going out to try and get. But I think that the good thing about him is he's more of a generalist in the midfield. Like he can play left wing, right wing, and attacking midfielder role. So at least he'll be more versatile. So regardless of what new coach comes in, he can still contribute at a high level with whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
Because I know some people don't like that we're signing a DP without a permanent manager.
That's me.
Yeah. What, you don't like that we're not signing one, Tim?
I don't like that we're signing DPs without a permanent manager now.
Oh, no. I agree. Is Moreno's not coming in as a DP, is he?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not on board with that either, because then you run the risk of being in the exact same position that we were with Pitti when you have a manager that comes in and all of a sudden you have a player that isn't necessarily fitting the utility that you're needing for that manager. I mean, I guess you can always try to get rid of them at that point in time, but it seems pointless.
Well, the counter is that the timelines don't align. Like by the time you bring in a new manager, a whole bunch of options could be out the window.
True.
So I think that's what I do.
Have we heard anything on the whole Jonathan Gonzalez deal or rumors on that at all?
I think Monterey ended up wanting too much money probably for it.
Gotcha.
So he would fit into that U23 bracket.
Right.
So
and he would be an absolute fucking anchor in that midfield that we can build around,
which we need.
I'm wondering if that's what led to the Moreno deal. Maybe if they were, if it was one that you had to kind of pick or choose between the two. If that's if Monterey was looking for too much and then Moreno ended up being a better fit financially or something like that. I have no idea. This is
at that point in time we didn't have the pity offer. So we already had 3 DPs.
True.
And I bet they were trying to get him because remember the rumor was on loan and then to buy for 10 million.
Right.
So let's loan him now. And then when these U23 initiative comes in, we can just, put him as essentially a U23 DP. But the last I heard is just, they'll contact him again in January. And so hopefully in January we'll see something, but that'd
be nice.
We'll see.
That'd
be freaking awesome. If they have God, man, I struggle with having only 3 DP spots. I mean, you're not really going to spend a DP slot on a central defensive midfielder, but it seems like that's the one position that we sorely need. Because I mean, I'm assuming Jeff's not coming back next year.
So how do we? So I don't think there's a lot to talk about as it relates to Atlanta United, and we're kind of grasping at straws here. But one of the discussions, and it's not necessarily pro-rel discussion, but a discussion I think worth having because we're kind of getting into this topic as it relates to the U21 and 23s is how do you fix the state of the league of like if you're the commissioner, how do you fix the state of the MLS as it relates on a global scale, whether it's from a salary cap or relegation? You're given the keys to the kingdom and you're trying to make MLS a relevant league while maintaining what I think MLS does that other leagues don't do as well, which is that sort of everybody gets a seat at the table and it's not just a financially backed and driven league with whoever has the deepest pockets is going to go out and dominate necessarily.
So I think MLS is doing what it needs to do right now in order to be that. But it's just slow and it takes time. I think the only way to really get it on the map in a very short term, but then you're kind of gambling on the long-term future is really raising the salary cap up immensely or adding 5 DP slots, something like that.
And then you run the risk of, again, you're kind of teetering on that line. Like eventually there's a line where it's like, okay, this is clearly just the financial backing of whoever owns this team that is going to dictate its success and failures based on how much money they can allocate towards their DP slots. And whenever you've got the majority of the lineup being paid an exorbitant amount of money that other teams and other owners can't necessarily afford to pony up, that creates those discrepancies in the standings, right? So
I mean, what's the difference with that in baseball? To my knowledge, it might be wrong. I don't know the salary cap rules altogether, front to back with MLS, but I don't think there's a cap floor, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there a spending floor?
No.
I don't think so. And right now, not every team is using all of their 3 DP slots at any given time. They're not all using their international slots at any given time.
Right.
So,
like Atlanta United.
Right. So what I don't understand then is what is the existential risk in upping the DP slots to 5? I know it, one of the fun parts about MLS is parity, but at the same time, there should be some sort of survival of the fittest mentality whenever it comes into these ownership groups, because this really shouldn't just be a money grab for them. I mean, if you look at baseball, look at the Miami Marlins, even them. I mean, they don't, Florida Marlins of old, like they win championships, sell off all their players, and then in a few years they win another championship, but they're dog shit in the meantime. I mean, but then you also have teams like, for the longest time, the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Royals, who they were treating it more like a business and less like an actual team. Like, and then you saw, between Steinbrenner and John Henry and in Boston and in the LA teams, it's not a guarantee that these teams are even going to be exponentially better than their counterparts on the field, just because they have more expensive players and they're spending more money on these players. I think there's probably some sort of fear. In part of it too is those are the only salaries that MLS pays, correct? Or that the teams pay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
MLS pays all the other salaries, right?
Am
I wrong? Because
you mean like the front office? Like MLS plays the front office?
It's a single entity league. What I'm trying to remember, or maybe it's DPs are the salaries that MLS will pay, or they'll pay certain amounts. Anyway,
no, I don't think MLS plays for shit.
No, I think they just take. I think they take a cut based on what your
MLS owns the contracts though with all the players.
Yeah, they own the contracts, but like you sign a contract with MLS, but it's on the owners to pony up the cash.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's some sort of symbiosis there, though. I
may
be wrong.
Maybe, but I don't think MLS is helping out the teams.
I don't know if that's even a better. If that's the case, that's even a better reason to ask why does it matter if we unleash some of these more cash infused clubs, right? I mean, why not just unleash Seattle and Portland and Atlanta, and for God's sake, NYCFC. I dare to see what they would do if there was
Galaxy.
Yeah. Or Galaxy or LAFC. I mean, or Austin. I mean, a lot of these teams, I mean, you don't have a ton of penny pinching teams. I don't feel like, I mean, and again, I mean, we've seen smaller market teams win, and I get it. And that's part of the parity that makes this league attractive to a lot of people. But at the same time, you got to take a leap forward. And
I guess the biggest issue there, at least with that logic for me, is to use the analogy of MLB, right? Like MLB is the final destination for baseball leagues in the world, right? So it's like they're setting those prices internal to the league, much like one could argue the European leagues are setting the prices for what players are internationally. So from that standpoint, like to get to that level of MLB with what you're doing with those players and what you're doing with those spending, that spending for those player acquisitions or those player values, you have to have some sort of international standing that is willing to reflect that evaluation in some regard, right? And I don't know that that's necessary. That necessarily exists, because you're not even seeing players that are on a DP level, with the exception of a handful over recent years, that are getting that recognition on an international level, that they're even worth that amount of money that they're being paid in a DP position in the MLS.
No, I mean, I get it. I'm not saying remove the salary cap. I don't want us to end up like the Chinese Super League, where we just completely open the checkbooks for all the teams to go buy every single player, and then nobody can afford shit. I just mean, like, I feel like you got to loosen the purse strings a little bit.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a little too tight, and they're being a little and I guess COVID is maybe a factor in some of this, just because, everything going on with the CBA around around a pandemic too, like the CBA getting signed.
It's just such a crazy league that it's like, I think there are elements of MLS that are really, that I would hate to see go. Like, I think everything that the league does with its homegrown players and trying to feed into a U.S. men's national league or whatever. Like, I think that there's something to be said for that, but it's even that level of development and international recognition is lacking in some regard, right? And like, I think that those things are tied in some way, where it's like there's got to be something to be done for players that are being brought in internationally, that it's not recognized as a retirement league that people are just going to at the end of their careers or just starting out, but that you're getting people in their prime years. And that I feel like that there's some component of that you get players that are in their prime years that are also playing for prime international duty, whether it's at the United States level or internationally, that needs to be addressed. And I think that there's something to be said about what our national soccer teams are doing and what those players are contributing to their leagues in the MLS or internationally for that matter.
Yeah, that's an interesting point you bring about where MLS sits in the global soccer leagues around the world. That's something I hadn't thought. I just think it's going to take slow progress. I mean, there were, with this last CBA, there were, they scored some big results where they're going to get, more compensation for players.
Yeah.
But then it's, part of me is like, well, I'm a Man United fan. Of course I want them to unshackle some restrictions. But then if I'm a Colorado fan
or Columbus, who's just been hanging on,
then I'm like, maybe I don't want you guys to just, because it's what will happen is you'll just have, the haves and have nots.
5 or 6 teams that are at the top, and there's no relegation, and it's going to continuously be those teams, and it doesn't do the league any good. It does those teams good. Right. Mm-hmm. And like, that's where I'm coming from. It's like, how do you get the league to thrive more so than paychecks and pocketbooks and a handful of teams? You know what I mean?
Right. Because I mean,
open the pocketbooks. Open the damn pocketbooks.
Oh, I haven't been here since the Frank announcement happened.
What? Yes. Really?
No, I haven't been here. So, did you guys talk about it? Sorry, I missed last week.
Of course we talked about it. The Netherlands news.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good fit for him.
I do too. And I can't wait to see what happens. Tim, I'm sure, just went off screen to grab my Netherlands scarf, which I need to have returned to me immediately.
Yeah.
So is that, would you consider, because there's been a lot of talk about like upgrade or downgrade for Frank going to Netherlands?
Oh, he failed up. He failed up big time. He gets to coach Virgil van Dijk now. Like this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, the biggest thing was his problem here was the communication, right?
Right.
But now he's not going to have a communication gap at all.
Yeah, exactly. Culturally, I feel like it's going to be
everybody's as flat and stern as he is.
Right. So I think it's a fantastic hire. I think that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully it won't come to anything and won't cause England any problems, but
I hope it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, we what do we have, a week before he squares off with Tata?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. The battle of the Atlanta United managers.
That's a fun matchup, yeah, for sure.
So Brian does bring up a good point. He said if we want to compete with Mexico, then we have to have like 13 DP slots.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of those teams. It is crazy the way that we compete. I mean, Columbus is a good call out, Kevin. Not to completely derail the discussion about Frank, but the Columbus call out about them staying afloat or whatever, they're first in the East.
Yeah.
And they're seemingly one of the cheaper teams that
right.
we see.
But does that diminish whenever every team has got the ability to have all this capital to throw at players that I don't know that Columbus necessarily does right now?
I don't know. Look at like the Oakland A's Billy Bean teams. There's always going to be like Moneyball teams. I think that can make it happen. Again, I'm not saying you completely get rid of the salary cap or get rid of DPs in general. But we got to move forward. Like, how long is it's been 3 DP since we got into the league 4 years ago. So,
oh yeah.
or 3 years ago, whatever it is, our 4th season, right?
Since we created the sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it seems like people are. So interesting thing. So I'm looking up Liga MX. For the total market value, the most expensive club in Liga MX is Monterrey, and they're at 68.8 euros. But Atlanta United, our value is 48.3 million euros. So, I mean, it's like only Monterrey, Tigres, Club America, Cruz Azul,
Only half the league.
Guadalajara, and Santos Laguna, which is only 6 teams out of 9, 12, 15, 18, out of 18 teams. And then after Santos Laguna, which is 50, you drop down to Pachuca, who are 37 million. So in terms of value, we're like upper middle.
But how much of that value ends up being, Joseph Martinez value versus what we bought him at? Or George Bellows value? Like, what's his transfer market value? Because he doesn't hit a salary cap. I think that's...
But it doesn't matter if it's total. I mean, you're deciding where you spend your money. So if you go look at Pachuca, total value, their highest is 6 million euros for Victor Guzman, and then everyone else is 3, 2, 2.5, 1. I mean, that's only 1, 2, 3, 6 players on their roster who are above or equal to 2 million in value. So you're not actually too far away. But if we opened up more DP slots, then, you're going to want to we could only climb higher in that regard.
So you're talking about we are 10 DPs different than Monterrey. So call Monterrey the most valuable club in Mexico player wise.
So 70, yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about
in Atlanta United's case, I say you're like Monterrey are like 60 Ps to our 3.
No, I'm just saying if there's a $20 million or 20 million euro gap between their values and ours, that's pretty substantial for the top 2 teams in the leagues, right?
Right, but I mean, I feel like, everyone's saying Liga MX is so much higher quality and they don't have a salary cap. Like you can afford to spread more money out across your roster. So it's like you're not going to have the Jake Mulraneys in your team. You're going to have guys who are worth at least $1 million.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess you can have 20 more Heinemans on your team.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Why have one Heineman when you can have 23?
It's a lot of Heineman.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, with the league and with Atlanta United going forward, I mean, so much of this season across all sports is just up in the air. I mean, it's just crazy to see what's happened. Obviously, being an Atlanta United podcast and talking about this team and following this team over the past couple of years, that's what we're here to talk about. But like I said, you look at every other league that's being affected currently, at least in American sports. What was it? NFL had the most points scored in the first 2 weeks than in the history of the league. You've got half of college football not playing the season, and Miami somehow being ranked a top 5 team right now. I mean,
wait, Miami's in the top 5?
Yeah, dude.
For like what, 2 more weeks
till they play Clemson.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a new name in the trap. Crit Def Matt. I like the idea of 5 DPs. Honestly, the sport is ever growing in the U.S. The market will demand better players, so over time, you're going to have to open to to open the doors to higher quality signings.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's just going to take time, and the key is balancing everything and keeping all the clubs solvent and finding ways to do that. But it's there's clubs in fact League One and League Two in the UK they are instituting salary caps because a lot of clubs are going bust. So I think you're actually going to see a lot more salary caps coming out, especially in lower leagues where everything's a lot more volatile.
Yeah.
Or do like the NBA does, have a luxury tax. So we could spend all we want. We just have to pay it back. Like we just have to pay a penalty. We could be the Golden State Warriors, have a Fab Five, and just pay an exorbitant luxury tax to the league for going over the salary cap.
So who does that tax go to?
The league as a whole, I believe.
Oh, so it gets distributed back to other teams?
I would guess so, yeah. I don't know where it goes. Who the hell knows where tax money goes, Dan? Whether it's luxury tax in the NBA or splotched dollars.
It goes right back into the league officials' pocket is where it goes.
Yeah.
All right, so who do you guys think is going to win the debates tomorrow? What do you expect to see out of the debates tomorrow night?
Bye. Is that on FanDuel's?
Oh,
is that on DraftKings? Can I do
I think it's on Barstool Sports. I'll be betting on the debates tomorrow night.
So, better question: what are you going to be betting on?
The amount of time Joe Biden forgets what he's saying. The amount of times that Trump says "tremendous." They got a whole lot of lines set up. I can't wait.
Awesome.
It's gonna be great.
Good grief. Coach Steve tagged us. He made some video. Coach Steve, what is the song on this? It sounds so epic. But it's just a video. Hold on. I'll see if I can
Is it the Atlanta United official song? Want to play that again? We'll play that one.
Yep, that's it.
Red and white, what we need. This is our identity. Bravo Atlanta. Who sang that song?
Are we still number one Orlando City podcast?
Nah.
No, we've
fallen off a little bit.
that one.
Now they've got better.
Because of all those bozos down there.
Yeah.
Row, row, row.
Patrick Keenum says, anyways, this has been fun, but this is still the worst OnlyFans account I've ever seen. We know that's not true, though. I don't know about that. You've probably seen worse.
Man, I really wish I knew what that song was that we played. I'd like to play it.
Can you guys hear that by chance?
No.
Okay. I keep muting myself because I feel Pirlo has a giant yak cheese. For any of you dog owners that have dogs that chew like crazy, if you haven't
I can hear it a little bit.
You haven't given them a yak cheese before, they go to town on it. It lasts for a long time. It's good stuff. But it's loud.
I hear it a little bit now. Yeah. I really wish I could find that one song from. Oh, sorry. Got it. Just remember this, guys. I don't care if we get reported. Season's over. 2020's over.
For some reason, I don't think. For some reason, I don't think those algorithms are gonna catch that song. I feel like if you Shazammed that song, I don't think we're gonna get. We could play that whole thing the entire time in the background. We wouldn't get demonetized for that.
Oh, good to know.
Did anybody watch the fights on Saturday and watch Stylebender just absolutely toy around with that Ricky Martin inflated Ken doll, Paulo Costa?
Ricky Martin, he's fighting now?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. No, it didn't.
It was a hell of a night of fights. It was good stuff.
Have you guys watched Ted Lasso?
Nope. I was wondering who was tweeting about that.
You guys need to get on that.
Is this another Timmy Hammer joke?
Ted Lasso is what 2020 needs.
Tim selling mallets. Find him at his name. It's Tim Herb. I don't know, man. Grasping at straws here. This team has been a wild disappointment this season.
Score prediction for Saturday, since we don't have a midweek game.
2-0 or 2-1 Atlanta loss.
Against DC?
Yep. Julian Gressel gets a brace.
Oh, my God. I say 2-0 Atlanta. Brooks Lennon gets the brace, and everybody could just shut up.
Okay.
I say either a 0-0 or a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
It's very boring.
Yeah. Oh, well. It's just, it's tough to watch, man. It's tough to watch. I mean, nobody's tuning into this podcast because they don't even want to hear about the team outside of.
No, it's true.
Having to watch the game.
You guys are the true.
Yeah, the people that are continuing to show out in the trap are the people we do it for, honestly.
Oh, well, great episode, guys. Great episode.
So glad to be back.
With that Meat Mountain.
All right. Where can the people find you guys at?
At your local Arby's.
Mm-hmm. You've been watching Barbecue Pit, the Great Barbecue Championship on Netflix. I've been watching that.
It's tough because we're getting back into cooking and eating well, and can't just sit and watch those.
Can't just watch cooking shows. Yeah, it's rough.
It's like, ooh, Taco Chronicles. No.
But Dan, you might be interested. I saw online, and I'm going to attempt to make a smoker for Thanksgiving this year to smoke a pork butt and make a terracotta smoker using flower pots. So it's basically like a big green egg because it's a terracotta smoker, but you just use 20-inch round flower pots and stack them one on top of the other and do like a gasket seal around it. And it's, $50 or $60 versus $1,500 for a big green egg. So
yeah, why are flower planters so fucking expensive?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
just
cool.
Want to plant a monstera in the dining room.
So yeah,
more than the.
You'll have to, Kevin. You have to put your process on Insta.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely do that. Oh, Brian mentioned Inktober. I am going to attempt to do that again this year. Again, it is work pending right now, so it may not be full month, but try to do something this year. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll be doing Stinktober. Where I eat a Quest bar every day and just ruin the house.
Nice.
You and Pirlo, you're gonna have to get that place fumigated, dude.
No, we are fumigating it.
So
I can cancel the exterminator services though.
Awesome.
Where can I find you guys at though? Tim.
You can find me at Tim Herb.
Daniel.
You can find me at this little picture of a cactus that I drew today with my son.
Wow, that was very artsy.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever seen you sketch anything outside of just work-related stuff. That's fun.
Yeah.
Is your brother
trying to
still
get back
stuff?
into it? Oh yeah. Signs of Doom.
Yeah,
all over it.
Right on.
ABC.
Awesome. And what about you? Did we already do that one?
Oh, you can find me at DNJMS. So I made it back to 260 followers. It's
Touch
heady
and go.
heights now. Heady heights. I'm sure
Touch
it's
and go.
gonna take a good tank, especially after this podcast.
Find me at The Architect. That's at _ARC, number 1 TECT. Collectively, at Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B and the number 4. I got to tell you guys, it has been great being back on the show. Missed the hell out of both of you and all of you that tuned into the show live. If you didn't tune in live and you would like to, please go to gethomebeforedark.com/subscribe to find out where you can find us at. Subscribe and hit the bell icon on YouTube to get a notification whenever we go live. We'd love to see you. Until then, tell a friend, and as always, be home before dark.
Mr. Mallet. Yes, Pinky.